Brad, when Marcus makes a play like grabbing that offensive rebound in traffic like that, is that even surprising to you anymore?
No, if he gets his hands on his balls, he's going to get the ball. Like whether it's a dive, whether it's a rebound, whether it's whatever, he's going to get the ball. So he's got a special knack for that, and he made a lot of big plays, including the big shot after struggling tonight.
Matt Vitor.
Brad, you used Jabari in some pretty significant spots, having not even had a practice with him. What were your impressions of him, and what did he show you early that made you trust him late?
Well, we needed to, we went through that stretch at the start of the fourth quarter. We needed to score, and he gave us some opportunities there. Both in the first half and the second, when he played on the baseline and played to his strengths, and did a lot of good things. He'll pick up our defense as time goes on, and we've got to figure out how to best play with him on both ends. But pretty good for his first night.
John Corrales.
Brad, obviously, Jayson carried you in that first half when things weren't going well for the team. What was happening in that first half, first of all, and then can you just speak to Tatum's just the way he was carrying the team tonight?
He was amazing again. I don't know how those guys feel because they're the ones that are playing, John, but I was gassed today. And so I thought we played like I felt in the first half, and that's why I didn't get too down. Like Curry was doing his thing, and we were just going to have to find a way to dig deep and gut it out. And Tatum's run at the end of the first, and really the 3 for 2 at the end of the first, where we scored, stop, going into halftime, gave us a lot of, I think, juice and like belief, right? Because we were, you could see we weren't perfect early on. We looked like we were moving in mud a little bit, but then he went to a different level, and he was unbelievable.
Tim Bontemps.
Brad, I apologize you got asked this already, but you've talked a lot over the past couple of weeks about the fight that your team has had and how it's been a little different than earlier in the season. And like you said, given the legs you guys had coming off this road trip, being down early, is this kind of another example of some of that stuff that maybe you wouldn't have had 4 or 6 weeks ago?
Well, again, I think the number one reason for our little run here is we've been, for the most part, healthier. Now, tonight we were a little bit less, but we just missed a lot of guys early in the year. And I know that sounds like a excuse. I hope it doesn't. I mean, I think what we tried to do was, stay afloat as well as we could, and hope that we get to a time where we get a little bit healthier and can put together some weeks of good basketball. Throughout all that, our guys have done an incredible job of staying together. And when that happens, and then you get a little momentum, then you have a tendency to respond when you don't feel great. And so we have a little bit of momentum from, we've been down 14 at Denver, 17 against Minnesota, down in every game. So I don't see us really worrying about that, and I see good resolve.
Jared Weiss.
Along the same lines, when Steph tends to be lighting it up on contested threes over and over, that's pretty demoralizing for most teams. Do you feel like you guys are responding to adversity well at this point, and you've established that ethos now?
A lot of adverse things in the world, a lot bigger than watching Steph Curry shoot threes. So, the smallest part of me enjoys it. I just hate competing against him. But man, do I love watching him. He is as fun to watch as any player because of his creativity, his mastery of shooting. And you just never feel good when you're an opponent. You always feel like you're the next line of a fairy tale. And so I don't lose too much sleep over seeing that ball go in against two people or seeing some of the magical shots. I lose sleep over giving up the layups and the back cuts and the slip outs and the offensive rebounds and those type of things. But there's only so much you can do. I mean, we doubled him several times, and the only one it felt like he missed was the one from half court.
Mark Medina.
Hey, Brad, I know that obviously Jalen's out today, but throughout the course of this season, the production that Tatum and Brown have shown speaks for itself. But what else has jumped out to you with the kind of leadership they've shown through the ups and downs of this year?
Well, number one, we've said this several times in Boston. The number one way you can lead is by example. And the next thing is, how do you lift each other up? How do you lift others up? And that's especially telling when times are toughest. And we've dealt with some times. Again, not real adversity. There's a lot of worse stuff going on in the world. But we've stuck together, and, you know, that's given us a chance to play better. We've committed to playing better. And we have, as we've gotten healthier. We missed a lot of guys tonight, Jalen, Rob, and Evan. But again, once you establish some momentum, then you feel like you can dig deep. And the end of the first half gave us a chance to do that.
The Celtics with 6 straight wins, now the longest active winning streak in the NBA, and this one catapults them into sole possession of the 4 seed in the Eastern Conference.